on the challenges faced by farmers in Buzzword in Chama North Parliamentary constituency in receiving payments for maize supplied to the Food Reserve Agency. This matter was not admitted.
The other urgent matter without notice did come from Mr. Kangombe on the decision by volunteer doctors across the country to withdraw their services over delayed recruitment to formal positions, and this particular urgent matter without notice was equally inadmissible.
The last one did come from Dr. Aaron Mwanza, Kaumbe constituency member of parliament, on the subject matter on the delayed disbursement of the constituency development fund for Kaumbe parliamentary constituency. This matter was equally not admitted.
After that segment, Madam Speaker did permit the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation to deliver a ministerial statement that was on the measures being taken to resolve the water crisis in Deke village and surrounding areas in Kampinsa parliamentary constituency, following a directive by Madam First Deputy Speaker in response to an urgent matter without notice raised by Mr. C. Kangombe, Member of Parliament for Kampinsa, on Friday, 5th December 2025. The Minister did brief the House on the cause of the problem and measures being taken to improve water supply in the affected areas.
Thereafter, the House did consider two questions. The first one was Understanding Order 82, questions of urgent in nature, and the other one was question 121, Understanding Order 80.
Mr. Miyutu of Kalabo constituency did move a motion titled Strengthen Protection and Rights of Persons with Albinism, that this House urges the government to strengthen protection and rights of persons with albinism, and this particular motion was agreed to.
The following bills were considered by the House. The first one, the Income Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2025, was considered at committee stage without amendments. A third reading to be taken today, 11th December 2025.
The other bill that was considered on the floor of the House was the Customs and Excise Bill, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2025. It was considered at committee stage with amendments, and report stage will be taken today, 11th December 2025.
The Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2025, was equally considered at committee stage without amendments, and the third reading is expected to be taken today, 11th December.
The other bill that was considered at committee stage yesterday was the Zambia Revenue Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 22 of 2022. It was considered without amendments, and third reading is expected to take place today.
The Property Transfer Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2025, was considered without amendment, and a third reading expected to be taken today.
The other bill that was considered at committee stage yesterday was the Mobile Money Transfer Transaction Levy Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2025. It was considered with amendments, and report stage is expected to take place today.
The Registration of Business Names Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2025, was considered with amendments, and a report stage to be considered today.
So those were the bills that were considered yesterday, and they'll be considered at different stages today. So I would urge you to stay tuned. And so the House did adjourn yesterday accordingly at 17:22 hours. Time now to look at today's business.
Yes, indeed, we now focus on today's business. The agenda of the House today on the order paper. We do expect announcements if there will be any, ruling if there will be any, urgent matters without notice, and of course we have two ministerial statements.
And so we go straight into the ministerial statements that will be, delivered on the floor of the House today. The first one is expected to come from Her Honor the Vice President on the measures that government has put in place to address challenges in the country that are beginning to unfold as disasters due to the onset of rains.
The other one, we do expect the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security to issue a ministerial statement and give an update on the status of the online passport application system.
So those are the two ministerial statements that will be delivered on the floor of the House today. Thereafter, we do expect the House to consider two questions for oral answer understanding order number 80, and question 122 is going to come from Ms. Piri of Milanzi constituency. She's going to ask the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development whether the government has any plans to rehabilitate the Kagoro Tandaza Road in Milanzi parliamentary constituency? If so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no such plans, why?
Mr. Siachi Sumo, Rufwanyama Constituency Member of Parliament, has a question to the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. He wants to find out in three parts. In A, whether the government has any plans to upgrade Rufwanyama Karengwa Road connecting Rufwanyama and Kasempa districts to bituminous standards. In B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and C, if there are no such plans, why?
Okay, so those are the two questions for oral answer that will be considered under standing order number 80. Time now to look at some of the bills that will be considered at different stages this afternoon and parts of the evening. We have the Criminal Procedure Code Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2025. It will be considered at second reading stage. We also have the Closed Circuit Television Public Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 1 of 2025, to be considered at committee stage.
We also have the Customs and Excise Amendment Bill number 2, Bill National Assembly number 20 of 2025, to be considered at report stage. The Mobile Money Transaction Levy Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2025, to be considered at report stage.
Another bill that will be considered at report stage is the Registration of Business Names Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2025. Another bill that is coming up at report stage is the Betting Levy Bill, National Assembly Bill number 31 of 2025.
The other bill coming at a third reading stage, the Income Tax Amendment Bill number 2, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2025, to be considered as third reading. The Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2025, also to be considered at the third reading stage.
A third reading stage to be considered equally is the Zambia Revenue Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 22 of 2025, and lastly for today, the Property Transfer Tax Bill, National Assembly Bill number 25 of 2020, National Assembly Bill number 22 of 2025 will be considered at a third reading stage. And so those are the bills that will be considered at different stages today. Joe?
This order paper can be accessed on the National Assembly of Zambia website, www.parliament.gov, and you can as well follow the proceedings on DSTV channel number 272, GoTV channel 28, and of course Topstar channel 205 rather.
Remember, business resumes any time from now. That's at 14:30, but before that we expect to see the Speaker's procession making its way into the chamber. Just about now we leave you with live visuals from the chamber. Members of Parliament catching up as we await for the Speaker's procession. Would like to aid you to stay tuned right here on the only station that brings Parliament closer to you. Pleasant viewing and good afternoon.
Honorable members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Yeah.
And the sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy. is in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, O one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Green and we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, O one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. All the honorable members, I have one ruling to deliver. This is the ruling on the point of order raised by Honorable J.J. Mwimbu, SC, MP, Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, on whether the petitioners in the case of Celestine Mukandila and Munia Zulu versus the Attorney General 2025 CCZ/009 were in order to commence contempt proceedings against the House. Honorable members will recall that on Tuesday, 9th December 2025, when the House was considering the ministerial statement by the Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment on the 30th session of the Conference of the Parties on Climate Change, and Mr. M. Katambo, Member of Parliament for Masaiti constituency, was asking a question on a point of clarification on the ministerial statement, Honorable J.J. Mwimbu, SC, MP, Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, raised a point of order. In the point of order, Honorable J.J. Mwimbu, State Council, MP, inquired whether the petitioners in the case of Celestine Mukandila and Munia Zulu versus the Attorney General 2025/CCZ/009 were in order to commence contempt proceedings against the House for its continued consideration of the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill number National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2025. In my immediate response, I reserved my ruling to enable me to start the matter. I have since studied the matter and I will now render my ruling. Honorable members, the point of order by Honorable J.J. Mwimbu, State Council, Member of Parliament, raises the issue of exclusive cognizance of the National Assembly of Zambia in the conduct of its internal affairs. In this regard, Article 76 of the Constitution of Zambia, Chapter 1 of the Laws of Zambia provides as follows, and I quote, 76.1. A member of Parliament has freedom of speech and debate in the National Assembly, and that freedom shall not be ousted or questioned in a court or tribunal. 2. A member of Parliament shall have the powers, privileges, and immunities as prescribed. End of quote. Further, Article 77(1) of the Constitution provides, and I quote, 77(1), subject to this article and Article 78, the National Assembly shall regulate its own procedure and make standing orders for the conduct of its business. End of quote. Furthermore, Section 34 of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia provides as follows, and I quote, 34. Neither the Assembly, the Speaker, nor any officer shall be subject to the jurisdiction of any court in respect of the exercise of any power conferred or vested in the Assembly, the Speaker, or such officer by or under the Constitution, the standing orders, and this Act. End of quote. Honorable members, it is clear from the foregoing authorities that members of Parliament enjoy immunity from external forces while exercising any power conferred on or vested in the Assembly. Therefore, no court of law is permitted to interfere with the internal processes of the National Assembly, as it enjoys exclusive cognizance. The doctrine of exclusive cognizance is a core parliamentary privilege, meaning each legislative house has the inherent exclusive right to be the sole judge of its own internal affairs, procedures, and the conduct of its members, free from outside interference, especially from courts. It ensures legislative independence by preventing courts from questioning internal decisions like the legislative process, voting, procedures of the House, or upholding internal rules. It also ensures separation of powers between the judiciary and the legislature. It is for this reason that when a matter is in the courts of law, the House does not debate such matter or interfere in any way until it's disposed of. Similarly, the courts are not allowed to interfere with any process that is already underway in the National Assembly. The jurisdiction that the courts have is to determine a decision of the House where an aggrieved party challenges that decision. As the House is aware, on Tuesday, 9th December 2025, the Constitutional Court determined the matter which was the subject of the point of order and found that it was misconceived and lacked merit. Accordingly, the petitioners were brought to their knees, not in prayer, but in shame. As such, the point of order raised by Honorable J.J. Mwimbu, State Council, MP, Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, has since been overtaken by events. Honorable members, let me take this opportunity to state that as the custodian of the privileges and immunities of all honorable members of this august House, I shall stand firm to protect your rights, immunities, and privileges so that you work in a free environment as you discharge your constitutional duties. In this regard, I will not allow any external interference. Let me also guide the House that members of this august House should be careful with some of these petitions, which are meant to instill fear in the members and are also meant to pitch one arm of the government against another arm. Although we subscribe to the doctrine of separation of powers, we are one government. And instead of standing against each other, the three arms of government complement each other. I thank you. Urgent matters without notice. I see no indication. Oh, the honorable member from Mukushi South, you have urgent matter without notice.
Mukushi North.
Oh, Mukushi North, sorry, Mukushi North.
Mukushi South has dominated. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for granting me the opportunity to raise an urgent matter without notice directed at the Minister of Health. Although I can't see him in the House, in this regard I direct it to the Leader of Government Business in the House. Madam Speaker, Mukushi District Hospital has of late been running without an ultrasound machine, commonly known as the scanner. The machine broke down 2 weeks ago, and it has raised a lot of concern now from the community. This machine is an important equipment in each and every health facility, especially the hospitals, which detect a lot of issues and challenges amongst our women who are in the motherly way, and indeed those that the casualties found in accidents. So this facility, our district hospital in Mukushi, has been running without the ultrasound machine. I'm appealing to the minister if there is anywhere there where they can source this machine to come into Mukushi as a temporal measure, as we look into this, as maybe as the government looks into this issue to purchase another one. But for the time being, there is no anywhere near where our patients, especially our expecting mothers, can be taken to detect the challenges that they can be having in their motherly way. So my matter is indeed of that urgency, and indeed it takes upon ourselves and indeed the government at the moment to ensure that our people are given the much needed services, and indeed, for that matter, good services. And this can only be attained if we have enough and good equipment. Madam Speaker, I need your indulgence in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member from Mukushi North. I suggest you put in a question. I don't know if the Honorable Minister of Health is here. I can't see him. But also it will help to engage. Let's see how we can engage the Honorable Minister to address that issue. But you can put in a question, an urgent question. Okay, thank you. So we make progress. I have permitted, before I proceed, the Honorable Member for Chipili again has come out. Show us how you look. You can stand. You can stand up. Stand up. Yes. But so he has done it again. And when I came in, I looked at him and I knew that he wanted us to recognize him. So I did the needful. Thank you very much, Honorable. Sorry, there is a point of order. Oh, okay. No, leave him alone. Can we make progress, order, honorable members? I have permitted Her Honor the Vice President to present a ministerial statement. Her Honor the Vice President.
You keep changing. Madam Speaker, allow me from the outset to thank you for the opportunity you have given me to update this august House on measures that the government has put in place to address challenges that the country is going to go through as the disasters unfold due to the onset of the rains. The House will recall that on 19th November 2025, an urgent matter without notice was raised by Mr. Christopher Kangombe, Member of Parliament for Kamfinsa, regarding the collapse of some houses in his constituency and the surrounding areas. Madam Speaker, directed that I come to this august House to give an update on the measures government is taking to address the challenges caused due to the onset of the rains. Madam Speaker, the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit in my office is responsible for coordinating disaster preparedness and response in the country. Our work spans from preparedness, prevention, mitigation, response, and building back better in recovery. I must hasten to mention that the country has a robust framework for disaster preparedness and response in line with international standards and norms in disaster risk management. Madam Speaker, the House may also wish to note that the paradigm shift in disaster risk management, which emphasizes focus on disaster risk reduction, is espoused in the 2015 to 2030 Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, which the country is part to. Moving forward, in the face of increased frequency and intensity of extreme weather events due to climate change, we are intentional in ensuring that we are proactive in addressing disaster risks. Our recently approved 2024 Disaster Risk Management Policy attests to our unwavering commitment to ensuring that the disaster risk reduction agenda is entrenched across all sectors for resilience building. Madam Speaker, allow me to remind this House what constitutes a disaster, a national disaster. According to the Disaster Management Act number 13, Part 1 and Part 2 of 2010, a disaster is an event that is associated with the impact of a human-induced or natural hazard, which causes a serious disruption in the functioning of a community or society, causing widespread human, material, or environmental losses which exceeds the ability of the affected community or society to cope with the hazard using its own resources. Very important, Madam, that this is fully understood by honorable members of this august House. This definition brings out the element of response capacity at local, district, provincial, and national levels, depending on the magnitude and scale of an emergency. Each level of government is expected to institute minimum response and only appeal to the next level, or DMMU, when the incident is of a large scale and beyond its capacity to cope. Government has, for example, provided a 5% for disaster response under CDF. I am reliably informed that the guidelines are now flexible to allow district disaster management committees to guide and superintend over the usage of the 5%. Madam Speaker, allow me to take this opportunity to inform this august House and the nation at large that investing in disaster risk reduction for resilience building yields significant dividends. As you are aware, the country is still recovering from the adverse impacts of the severe drought experienced in recent years, which necessitated the President to declare a state of national disaster and emergency. Our President guided that our response was not to focus on conventional provision of immediate humanitarian assistance, but also to enhance early recovery of vulnerable communities. I proudly stand here to inform you that the 2025 in-depth vulnerability and needs assessment report show that this hybrid approach to drought response has significantly enhanced community recovery from the drought, as evidenced by a reduction of people in need of humanitarian assistance from 6.6 million during the 2025-2025 consumption period to 1.7 million for the 2025 to 2026 consumption period. Madam Speaker, every year, the DMMU, working in collaboration with the United Nations systems and other stakeholders, prepare a national multi-hazard contingency plan which provides the framework for undertaking anticipatory actions and help vulnerable communities better prepare for, cope with, and adapt to climatic shocks. As I am speaking, the 2025-2026 National Multi-Hazard Contingency Plan was already approved. This has outlined anticipatory actions to prepare for the anticipated hazards that would characterize this rainfall season, such as floods, prolonged dry spells, and epidemics. I must mention that the government is already aware of the districts likely to be affected. These include 37 districts for floods and 46 districts for dry spells, affecting a total population at risk amounting to 617,515, translating into 128,649 households. I will lay on the table, Madam, for those that may have an interest to know where their constituents or district is and the dangers that they are likely to go through. I'll lay the document on the table. Further, in order to avert and minimize the impact of these hazards on people's lives, property, livelihoods, and environment, clusters have been activated to ensure that they commence implementation of anticipatory activities. The activated clusters include agriculture, food security and livestock, education, energy, health, where we also have WASH program, infrastructure, shelter, that is camp management and camp coordination, emergency logistics, nutrition, protection, and risk communication and community engagement. Intercluster meetings are held once a month to review progress. Madam Speaker, the government has highlighted preparedness for anticipated floods and prolonged dry spells by implementing the following activities, among others. Number one, pre-positioning of food and non-food items in flood-prone and hard-to-reach areas across the country. 2. Heightened surveillance of animal and human diseases, especially epidemics. 3. Risk communication and community engagement. 4. communication of early warning information to communities at risk for them to take early action. 5, the seasonal rainfall forecast has been translated in 7 major languages and widely disseminated across the country. 6, provinces and the hotspot districts have identified the safe havens in an event of mass displacements by floods. Number 7, major outflow drains in Lusaka and surrounding districts are being worked on to mitigate structural flooding. Number 8, training satellite disaster management committees on community-based disaster risk management. And 9, government is also encouraging permanent relocation. I know it raised the eyebrows here, but we are also encouraging permanent relocation of communities in flood-prone areas as a permanent solution, because some places will be flooded through and through. Even when the rains are not so heavy, madam, you hear of floods in certain areas. So we are encouraging that people can move. I'll give an example. Looking at the debate that ensued in the House earlier, that in Southern Province, for example, there is Kafue floods, which is within Namwala and Monze. We have had, working together with resettlement, moved some of those people who were fishermen by their profession and livelihood to a higher place, and working with resettlement, those people are very happy to have moved. So it is something that we are encouraging through our members here to see whether there is a possibility of relocating people. Madam Speaker, the House may further wish to note that government has put in place mechanisms to ensure that vulnerable communities continue receiving humanitarian assistance and also, in the long term, build their resilience. The important part is that people should, in the long term, build resilience to the hazards that they may be exposed to. The mechanisms in place include the Cash for Work program in all the 116 districts now, as was decided. Where necessary, community sales will also be used alongside with cash interventions such as cash transfers. In conclusion, allow me to call upon everyone in the country, especially those residing in flood-prone areas, to take heed of the warning from the Zambia Meteorological Department and DMMU on how the season is unfolding, and evacuate where possible to avert and minimize loss of lives and damage to property. All the measures outlined in our 2025 National Multi-Hazard Contingency Plan require a whole of government and whole of society approach. So no member here is free to point at another one as the one in need of taking responsibility. The issues of disaster are everybody's responsibility. Let us ensure that we all embrace the culture of safety by avoiding indiscriminate disposal of solid waste, which clogs the drainages. This is particularly for Lusaka and the other cities and towns. It is my expectation that with these measures in place, the country will minimize occurrences of disasters and reduce their impact on our communities and the country at large. Madam Speaker, I thank you as I lay on the table the information that members may need to see whether their constitution is likely to be flooded or to have a long spell a long dry spell, or indeed both. There are some that fall under both, unfortunately. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much, Honor the Vice President, for that statement. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by Her Honor the Vice President. The Honorable Member for Sesheke.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much for according me the opportunity to interact with the Vice President. Madam Vice President, thank you so much for the support that this government rendered to the people of Sesheke and other areas that were hit by drought last season. We still hope and believe that Madam Vice President, through your office and the Minister of Agriculture, the situation has not really improved, especially more so that people are still waiting to harvest. Could you please, Your Honor, the Vice President, through you, that the Minister of Agriculture should consider to extend the communal cells in areas that are still facing these challenges. Places like Imosho, Madam Vice President, Ngweze, Mitete, including Ndundumwezi. I was in Ndundumwezi last week. These communal cells that have been withdrawn by the Minister of Agriculture was really helping, especially with the cash for work, which I believe next year it's commencing after all those that are still being owed will be paid very soon. My question, my substantive question is, could you please on our behalf engage or speak to our very able Minister of Agriculture to consider extending these communal cells? Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member, and thank you that you do acknowledge the effort that government put in place to ensure that despite that devastating drought, nobody died of hunger. And we continue to pledge that this government will stand with the vulnerable people, whichever reason brings vulnerability to them. I think to make it short, what I hear from the Honorable is asking when government is going to start giving community cells. Normally these were done by request, but this year I am informed we are starting community cells countrywide. Yeah. This is how caring this government is. Very soon. The dates here bring problems. So, very soon. In fact, when I'm talking like this, he must know, the minister, that this is literally an announcement. Yeah. It is an announcement, and the people must take it seriously. Community cells soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for that ministerial statement. I honor the Vice President, and we are grateful for your submission. I honor the Vice President. Disasters are not fully planned for. Even as we speak, in my constituency, we have those issues. But suffice to say that, I honor the Vice President. I wanted to find out, because we've had interaction with your national coordinator at DMMU, and the organization up to now seem not to have the risk management policy. Then how will they ensure that they plan and manage disasters moving forward? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and the Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa. I don't think I should start arguing that point, really. I think it is an oversight, and we cannot continue to run. When we have a department which is disaster risk management without a policy, I think it's something that we have overlooked over a long time, and we are working on that. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given. And also let me thank Her Honor, the Vice President, for coming up with that ministerial statement, which was triggered by the disasters that occurred in my neighboring constituents of Kamfinsa. Kamfinsa is just next door to my constituents, and we were not spared during the time that our colleagues got those disasters. If we talk of areas in my constituents which is close to Kamfinsa, like Moiseni, which is in Nkana East, as well as the Pusukilo and other outlying areas within Kwacha constituents, the disaster was quite enormous to an extent where most houses were destroyed, and we were challenged on how to look after those particular people that were affected. Your Honor, the Vice President, I would like to find out what measures you can advise to be able to assist the people that have lost properties in terms of houses, because you have indicated that you have extended through your office assistance in terms of food rationing and other assistance, but I've not heard you to talk about those people that have been affected in terms of houses that have been destroyed. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Kwacha. I think the concern for him is the houses, that in as much as you do little humanitarian assistance, there are those that lose, houses. I don't think really that DMMU has the capacity to build houses, to rebuild. We can assist, but it is at a very small scale. But to say disaster management will come in and start constructing houses for those whose houses collapse, I think I would be over-promising. But I must say also, building back better is one of the things that disaster management everywhere, disaster reduction, in fact, is looking at, Honorable Member. What we need is to ensure, to help, because when we talk of building resilience, we are talking of people, including houses, everywhere. When we are building, we should have in mind that the world has changed. Issues of, drought and others, including fires, are very likely to occur, because fires can occur because of the dryness of the place. It's important that when we are building, we have this in consideration. Therefore, the type of infrastructure, the type of houses, I think we should get involved and help people build things that will be able to have resilience and be able to withstand the climate hazard that may befall that house. But to build, what I've said before, I think I was somewhere where there was a disaster. I said disaster management, you remember it has got mitigation. And it is just to mitigate. I think as Zambians, it's time we started looking at what God has given us and what we need to do. If you have a house, most of us here who have houses don't even care about insuring. DMMU is not an insurance, because some people, when they lose, they come and say, no, I lost so much, DMMU. DMMU can't do that. I hope I'm answering to that. DMMU will not come to build a house, but they will give you something that will mitigate to allow you to go on. So it's important. I know, because I'm speaking from myself, there may be very few of us here who have insured their own houses. When a calamity fails, then we all start crying. Boma yanganepo. Boma will only yangana. Let the government look, at this issue. But that can only be a mitigation. So it's important that we encourage stronger houses, and we encourage houses that will withstand. Build on the rock, not on sand. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Thank you, Your Honor, the Vice President, for this very, very important ministerial statement. However, Your Honor, the Vice President, I think more than 2 weeks ago, when you assured the people of Chama on the floor of the House that the distribution of relief food would commence in Chama, but up to this time, nothing has happened. The people are still waiting for the food. Now, my question, Madam Speaker, I've seen there's been a drastic reduction in terms of budgetary allocation to DMMU from 299 million 2025 to 81.4 million 2026. Now, and only 42 million is allocated towards the humanitarian and disaster responses, just to mention but a few. Now, you have admitted that DMMU has no capacity to deal with certain calamities, like what Honorable Mlenga said from Kwacha. Now, with the 81.4 million, you honor the Vice President, is this money enough for you to deal with the anticipated disasters which lie ahead? I submit.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you very much. I think the Honorable Member does generally appreciate the interventions that have been put in place, except he wants to spin, Madam. I didn't say has no capacity as a general statement. I said no capacity to construct the houses for people whose houses collapse. He is just being deliberate. He understood. Yeah, but we have capacity to do the mandate that has been given to us. But I must really, when he refers to Chama over 2 weeks ago, I think that's a sad situation. And I go back, a sad person. We have to do. That's what I said, that when I make a statement, I expect that movement is there. So it is sad. What is our people on the ground doing? Because this came here, we have, I'll go and continue to follow it up. Because the people of Chama indeed need the food. But also, they are also going to benefit from the community sales, which your commissioner, district commissioner, is always also on me. So he was asking about this. I'm sure he's happy today. Do I remember his last point? Nobody was listening. So, Honorable Member, we will do that which is within our power and our mandate. You have asked about the money, the kind of allocation, and is it enough? I thought that was your last part. Is it enough? I think I've answered this in the House. I'll repeat, and members should remember that the Honorable Member for Bwana Mukubwa, when he stood, he said, disasters happen, it's difficult to plan. And he talked of the risk management. Do we have that policy? But generally, even the risk management, people who may know that field, we will speak to what may happen. It is not what will happen. It is just, if it happens, what do we do? We are going to put things in place. I have said it here, that the allocation to DMMU, as you see it in the budget, is not what we use. We go to finance under contingents. Yes, of course we can cry. Being in charge of this, I would say, why don't you give us as an allocation? But for now, we get straight from finance because it's difficult to plan exactly how much you are going to spend. So a lot of money we spend is not from what you see. We go to the Ministry of Finance, and that's where we get the money from. So don't worry too much about the 90 million you see. We go to the contingents which is left open for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I honor the Vice President. The ministerial statement you've issued today was prompted by accidents, or should I say disasters, that were recorded in my constituency. And I did indicate when I raised the matter before this August House that we have a challenge in the constituency in Ndeke Village.
Order. I don't know. Do we have an emergency or what is happening? You can call the doctors if you... Honorable Member for Shuangandu, are we okay then? Oh, okay, okay. Honorable Member for Kamfinsa, continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was trying to give a background to the urgent matter that, Madam Speaker, you guided me to write a letter to the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit. I did comply with your directive. After I addressed that matter, I personally delivered the letter, and a copy was stamped indicating the extent of the problem that had occurred in my constituency. Madam Speaker, from the 19th of November up to date, no steps have been taken to rectify the problem that occurred in my constituency. There has not been any phone call reached to the Member of Parliament who raised the issue. I was in the constituency over the weekend, went through again, Madam Vice President, no action has been taken. A school called Mulenga Primary hasn't got a war fence today. Houses have been affected. And I think by now, your office must know what has to be undertaken. Madam Speaker, my question, when is your unit going to respond to the issue that I raised on behalf of the residents of Kamfinsa constituency? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Kamfinsa for following through to date. Like I said to Chama, if nothing has been done, then I am disappointed equally. But you can't give us the war fences. It's not a life-saving matter, you know. And that is the way it came out that day. If you remember, you talked about the war fences. And where I sat here, I was saying, which mitigation do we bring to the war fence? But the houses is a different matter. I have said we can't build, but we can mitigate. And if nothing has been done, not in terms of the walls or building houses, but in terms of providing a short-term life, you know, to the people, if nothing has been done, then we have failed in that score. But not only, if the school, you know, the roof is blown off, we come in to see whether we give them tents and things like that. But to talk of the fences, Honorable Member, I think, yes, it doesn't matter. The fence does not save life. So that is not our real issue. But for the other issues, if we have not responded, I think then we should pull up our socks, particularly if there is need that a life can be lost if we don't act. That is what we should be doing. And if we haven't done that, we will follow it up. I will follow it up, just like Chama. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Usually a letter would do, but when the Honorable Member visits, you can even offer some explanation. Yes, so please do visit, and her Honor has assured you that she is going to follow up. The Honorable Member for Lundazi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon, Her Honor the Vice President. The main disasters which are reported, especially in Eastern Province, during this period, and Lundazi in particular, Madam Vice President, is the issue of human-animal conflict. We have been coming on the floor of the House from the time that we were elected, and even this time, already animals have been reported to say they are killing human beings, and yet there is no protection which has been put up, just as our friends have been able to put up in Malawi. Madam Speaker, due to this human-animal conflict, we end up having the challenge of, elephants tramping on the food, or maybe on the growth or the plants which the people plant, such as maize. We have disasters, especially in Lundazi. Madam Speaker, the response from your office is actually sometimes very much delayed. I would want to tell you that in Lundazi right now, from 2 years ago, and even last year when we reported to your office concerning the issue of elephants going into the fields of our people in Mutuanjov and killing actually some of the people there, nothing has been done. Madam Speaker, myself, Lufeo, and even Chasefu here in Nyambose, we have been reporting of urgent matters. People are getting killed. The fields of the people have been trampled on, but you find that the response is somewhere very slack. Her Honor the Vice President, taking advantage of what you have said, the only insurance that the people can have in the village is their vote. They know when they vote for you, you go back to them and be able to assist them. What is it that you are going to do concerning these challenges which our people are facing, especially in Lundazi? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Point of order. There is a point of order. Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, pursuant to item 71, which actually says that the person on the floor shall confine his or her debate to the subject under discussion. Madam Speaker, before I actually point directly to why I have risen, may I remind the House that the honorable member who was speaking last week told us here that in Lundazi people were not being paid. Immediately I went out, I called the bank, and the bank said there is no one on the line. And I looked for her. Instead, I found Honorable Kampiongo, and the Honorable Kampiongo spoke to the bank manager, who said it is not correct. Now today, Madam Speaker, instead of discussing what our Vice President of the Republic of Zambia has brought on the House, the honorable member again is talking about votes. What has votes got to do with disasters? Madam Speaker, may we guide the honorable that she should actually confine to the debate on the floor, not talking about other things, just like she did last week. Madam Speaker, is she in order?
Order, honorable members. The subject for discussion under which Honor the Vice President presented a statement on, a ministerial statement on, is on the measures that the government has put in place to address challenges in the country that are beginning to unfold as disasters due to the onset of the rain. And when I ask the honorable members to ask, I ask the honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by Her Honor the Vice President. So, honorable member for Lundazi, if you are talking about animal, human-wildlife conflicts, or any other about votes, that is not related to the subject matter under discussion. So, the honorable member for Lundazi was out of order. So, let's go to the next. The honorable member from Babal.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you so much, Her Honor the Vice President, for the very good statement on disasters. My constituency, Mbabala, is one of those which is prone to disasters of both flooding and houses collapsing and the like. And already we have lost some houses in Kavimba and the Trantambo areas. Now, I honor the Vice President is I've just learned, of course, that DMMU doesn't have the policies in place. However, when we apply for help for one house or so that has collapsed or two in an area, we are told DMMU is not able to come in to help those areas. But without a policy document, I'm wondering what then is used to respond to us in that manner. So the question is DMMU going to have a service charter to guide its delivery so that we can have clear metrics that we can measure its performance? I thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Mbabala, what he's saying, because he talks of, for example, one or two houses collapsing, and then DMMU says we can't. And then he's asking whether we have or we are going to have a service charter. Definitely, this is the way we are going to ensure that the service charter is speaking to exactly what we can do, what the public should expect us to do. You should go to the General Service Charter under the Office of the Vice President. But when you have one or two houses, Madam, look, that's why I started with a definition of what a disaster is. I think I was very clear that according to the definition in the Act, it is something that overwhelms the community. So if we are going to go to every house that collapses under this, then the nation will be overwhelmed. So really, there is a guidance as to what will be, regarded as a disaster that government should come in. If your house is going to collapse, the only house in the premises, that means there is a defect probably in the construction. I don't know what it could be, unless it overwhelms the members. Madam, I know you have ruled this thing out of order, but I saw the Honorable Member, she's out. Madam, when you start equating human life to a vote, I think then the people that are listening must take care that you cannot trust a group of people that compares human life to a vote. Here, we are concerned about human life and the livelihoods, not the vote. This government serves the people, not because of the vote. Otherwise, it would not be Nirundazi if it was about the vote, because they voted for her. But the answers are coming from this government. So, Madam, I think even when we want to do politics, I think we have to be wise in the manner that we want to woo voters to our side. We are serving everybody. Even where we got very little, we are serving those people. So the vote is not the driving force or the motivation. The motivation is the Zambian people. And I think they will vote better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for some reason, the Honorable Member for Lundazi, after being ruled out of order, in breach of our rules, she decided to move out. Anyway, it's Christmas time. It's a time for goodwill, so we'll leave it at that. The Honorable Member for Iteshteji.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving the opportunity for the people of Iteshteji to also interact with the Vice President. I honor the Vice President, the people of Iteshteji. They thank your government that from the time we did not do very well in terms of harvesting, DMMU has responded. There was the Buru Rugwash operation where our people benefited, and they are still benefiting through another program under the World Food Program, where you are collaborating with government and you are supporting our communities. Now, the Vice President, my question is with regard to the satellite committees. I'm aware that these satellite committees, they are at the village level, and they are the starting point for community response, coordination, and they are very key in strengthening response and coordination. My observation, Honourable the Vice President, that these satellite committees, they have not been capacity built. They have not been capacity built. They lack information. There's a lot of misinformation, and that's the reason why some of them, they think when they've got a disaster, they have to be compensated immediately. They are reporting cases which do not even qualify to be disasters, simply because they've not been given the desired capacities. So I want to find out, Madam Speaker, what DMMU is doing to ensure that the satellite committees at the lowest level, they are given the trainings so that we strengthen this coordination. In my understanding, that is where we have not done very well. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And, I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Iteji for taking note of the kind of efforts that are put in place, including the Blue Lukwa Show, because the Blue Lukwa Show was one of Iteji was one of the places where we did pre-positioning under that. But his concern is the capacity of our community satellite. I think I am just looking for the statement in the interventions that I gave. I thought I was very clear, Honourable Member. I just want to look for it and see. Yeah. Because I think your proposal is right in here. We do realize that capacity is not really there. And that's why we have said it was point number 8. In point number 8 of the measures, we said training satellite disaster management committees on community-based disaster risk management. This is an ongoing situation to capacitate these satellite community so that they can work on that. I thought that is what I read in here. And that's your concern. We are working on that. And remember, they may change, people move, but we'll continue until we see that people understand what this is, that it is not a government alone issue. It is whole of society. It's whole of government. I hope that is, thank you.
The Honourable Member for Mitete.
Grateful to you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, Bulozi is lyondo lya ng'uwa lyasilila ng'eke lya mebebi. That is Bulozi. Meaning, Madam Speaker, Bulozi, Western Province, is water. Water. How do you handle us where from long, when it's flooded, we shift from the lower flooded places to the upper? A non-situation. How do you handle us? In Mitete, the wetlands have been flooded by flash floods. And like you have indicated, there are indications of some drought. how do you handle us who are Liame, baby? Those who live with water. And Mitete in particular, where the wetlands, the maize have been destroyed. And they are indications of drought. But we are grateful that government is very soon going to start community sales. We are grateful. We are grateful to cooperating partners like World Food Program for the initiative collaborating with government to have distributed food baskets, Nulukulu and Mitete. But how do you handle us who are Liame? Water. Madam Speaker, thank you so very much.
Your Honor, the Vice President, I even thought the Honorable Member for Mitete was making a statement, ministerial statement, as a backbencher. Your Honor, the Vice President.
Those are Westerners. Thank you, Madam Speaker. How do you handle us? I think that is a question. Us who are water people. Who move? Who from the flooded area to the dry land? And when sometimes, I'll use that, flash floods come, they sweep away the maize. How do you handle us? I think, Madam, the Honorable Member should have helped me to give us how we handle them, because he's aware of how we handle them. One, we appreciate them. We honestly do appreciate that they don't come here to cry because of the floods generally. This is flash flood. Because they know when to cultivate. It's very important, the traditional, you call it indigenous knowledge. They even know by looking at insects that the floods will soon be here. So we need to share this kind of knowledge. But also the fact that they want to remain there, when they don't want to move, but they also know that this time we must move. I think that is something people can adopt. Instead of crying, you should know when do you cultivate in a certain place. And when do you move? So that it becomes your way of life. But when a disaster of this nature occurs because the river gets too full, and because you cultivate in the river banks, so you have what is called the riverine flood, then suddenly that is lost. We treat you just like any other. We provide, like you have taken note. World Food Program is not working in isolation. We know where there is World Food Organization helping us. We know where there is the Catholic whatever helping us. We know where there is the SDA what helping us. You have to know there are all these different entities that are helping. So government, direct or through partners whom they collaborate with, will continue to ensure that food is given. But what we don't want is for you to be in a permanent situation, year in, year out, you are just crying, give us food. Year in, year out, find a way of coping mechanism. You have done very well. You are the only ones who celebrate floods. Disaster, others call it disaster. For you, it is a wonderful time. You even invite international visitors. You are making good of the bad. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chipiri, you want to raise a point of order. What's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Point of order is on Honorable Member of Mitete. The way he was lamenting, as if we don't have land in Chipiri, Nikasama, instead of asking, why can't we move some of those people who are under pressure with the water? You Honor the Vice President, why didn't you say that too? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Mitete, you are being invited to go shift to Chipiri. But the Honorable Member for Chipiri, when there's water in Western Province, it culminates into a ceremony. So when he moves it to Chipiri, there will be no ceremony. That means the culture will die. So, but thank you for the offer on behalf of the Honorable Member for Mitete. So let's make progress. We go to the next item. But before we do, there's an announcement to make. Honorable members, you may recall that on Friday, 5th December 2025, I informed the House that the Select Committee appointed to scrutinize the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2025, had started receiving submissions from stakeholders. Further, I urge all honorable members who wish to make submissions to the committee to do so on Friday, 12th December 2025, in line with the committee's program of work. In this regard, tomorrow, being Friday, 12th December 2025, I would like to remind members interested in making submissions to do so. Honorable members who would like to get more information are urged to get in touch with the Director, Legal Services. I've seen some honorable members making submissions online. They will not land with the Select Committee. So let's go to the Select Committee and make those submissions so that we enrich the bill. Thank you very much. Point of order, Honorable Member for Bangor. What's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Over the Select Committee, Madam Speaker, there is a growing tendency, Madam Speaker, among ministers, cabinet ministers, to comment on Bill 7. I am citing ministers that have been publicly commenting on Bill 7, Madam Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 129, which forbids a minister to consult, advise, and sensitize on the bill, constitutional bill. So I'm raising this point of order on Minister of Home Affairs, Minister of Finance, Minister of Commerce. For other ministers who are first-timers, probably they don't know, I'll exclude them. So, Madam Speaker, I will read the standing order I'm referring to. When a bill, this is a constitutional bill, Madam Speaker. When a bill has been introduced in the House, a minister or public officer shall not consult, brief, or sensitize the public on the bill except before the committee to which the bill is referred to for scrutiny until the report of the committee on the bill is tabled. Are the honorable ministers that I have cited in order, Madam Speaker, to comment, sensitize, and advise on a constitutional bill that is under discussion? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Order. Order, honorable members. There's nothing difficult, honorable member for Nkana. Everything appears to be a test. Ikali, what do you mean Ikali? Yes, but how is it difficult? Because Ikali to who? Anyway, we are not supposed to engage. Please desist from commenting while you are seated there. I can hear everything that everybody says from this. I don't know whether it's the way the structure is meant, but watch what you are saying. I can hear every word. Honorable Member for Bangweru, thank you very much for raising that point of order. Correct, as I announced, any honorable member, be it a minister or a bank bencher, who wants to make comments in a matter that is before the select committee should go and make that representation before the select committee. And that applies to honorable members, our backbenchers, who are making submissions online and sharing them with people instead of going to the select committee to make those submissions. The beauty about making submissions to the select committee is you are enriching the process. And we are in a part of the process according to our procedures of enacting a law. So those honorable members who feel that they have something to add to the process, please appear before the committee and make your submissions. And then when you come to debate when second reading, then you'll be able to enhance those submissions. So I think maybe it's just let's be familiar with our standing orders. And when a matter is before a select committee, it cannot be discussed in the House until the report is submitted by the committee to the House, tabled, and then we can discuss it. Please, honorable members, honorable ministers who have been commenting, let's desist from doing that. It's definitely out of order. So let's make progress. I have also permitted the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security to present a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, I wish to express my sincere gratitude for according me this opportunity to update the nation on the status of the online passport application system. Madam Speaker, the House may recall that on Thursday, 2nd October 2025, I informed this August House that within weeks, citizens will be able to apply and pay for passports and other travel documents online. I indicated that this system will enable applicants to complete the entire process from the comfort of their homes, including tracking the status of their applications in real time and choosing their preferred mode of passport collection, either physical pickup or courier delivery. I also clarified that passport production will remain centralized at the existing centers in Lusaka, Ndola, and Livingstone. Madam Speaker, this innovation is fully aligned with the government of the Republic of Zambia's broader digital transformation agenda, implemented through the Smart Zambia Institute and the Ministry of Finance and National Planning under the Government Service Bus. The GSB provides efficient, secure, and user-friendly electronic government services. Madam Speaker, as the House is aware, the current passport application process has been predominantly manual and labor-intensive. Applicants have been required to complete multiple forms, undergo authentication steps, and make several visits to passport offices for validation, payment, and collection. This has resulted in long queues, high transport costs, particularly for applicants from
remote areas, and loss of productive time. Additionally, the manual system has presented operational challenges, including high administrative costs, inefficient record management, and gaps in revenue accountability. Madam Speaker, to address these challenges, the government, through the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security, commissioned a project in 2022 to digitize passport services. In 2023, the Ministry, in collaboration with the Smart Zambia Institute, commenced the onboarding of these services onto the government service bus. Madam Speaker, I am now pleased to inform the nation through this August House that the online passport application and payment system has been fully developed and is now operational on the government service bus through the Zamportal https://zamportal.government of the Zambia ZM. The following 5 services are now available online, tested and functional. 1. Application for a Zambian passport. 2. Application for a diplomatic passport. 3. Application for a refugee travel document. 4. Application for Comenza Laser Passa. And 5. Application for a travel document of identity. Madam Speaker, the introduction of these digital services will enable applicants to complete applications on their phones or computers, receive feedback electronically, and track the progress of their application in real time. Applications may also be completed on behalf of minors or individuals who may not be able to do so themselves. Secure payment options, including mobile money, online banking, and Visa card payments, are now available. The public is further assured of the following benefits resulting from this development. 1. Improved delivery service, reduced waiting times, and 24/7 access to services. 2. Cost efficiency, lower operational and infrastructure costs. 3. Enhanced data security, encrypted and auditable digital records that minimize risks of tampering or data loss. 4. Greater transparency, real-time application tracking and full visibility of processing stages. 5. Inclusivity, access to services for citizens in remote areas without the need to travel long distances. 6. Alignment with the national e-government agenda, strengthening the digital service delivery ecosystem. 7. Reduced transport costs for applicants. And 8. Simplified application status tracking. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I wish to encourage members of the public to utilize the new online passport application services available through the Zamportal applicant. Through the Zamportal, applicants will be required to first create a ZamPass account to access these services. I also wish to assure the nation that in line with the Passport Act, passport processing will be completed within 14 days for applicants in Lusaka, Ndola, and Livingstone, and within 21 days for all other provincial capitals. Manual applications will continue to run concurrently during this transition until such a time they are fully phased out. I appeal for the public's cooperation as we implement this important reform. With this statement, I officially launch the online passport application system for public use. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement rendered by the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. The Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister of Internal Security, for the ministerial statement. Madam Speaker, allow me from the onset to congratulate the Minister, especially his ministry, for the proper utilization of the government service pass for the year, the previous year, because this ministry did collect about $5.8 million through various services, as well as 7.8 million kwacha. And looking to it that we are progressing with our budget for 2026 based on domestic resource mobilization and the use of government service bus. However, I think police should pull up their socks to ensure that they utilize the same system. Madam Speaker, my question to the Minister is, with the launch of the online application of the passport, I just wanted to find out the integration with the issue of INRIS, if there's progress with the issue of NRC, as it were. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I've taken note of the compliments which have been made by my honorable colleague, the honorable member for Bwana Mkubwa, and wish to appreciate the same. Madam Speaker, I just want to confirm that as we progress, all services under the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security will be integrated under the INRIS system. And I also have noted the issue he has raised pertaining to the operations of the police. We are also digitizing, Madam Speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Chipili.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your statement. But I want to find out, Honorable Minister, what challenges have you anticipating which people are going to face, those who are going to be applying using online, looking at the scammers and the other issues? What challenges have you anticipating? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, currently I don't anticipate any challenges, taking into account that we have tested the system and it's working very well. If there will be any challenges, we'll be able to address them through the Smart Zambia and other stakeholders who are working with us.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Lukulu East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me join my colleague, the Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa, in congratulating government for this momentous achievement in digitalizing our government services, such as the passport acquisition. So the question, Honorable Minister, is that once an application has been launched successfully and the passport has been granted, will the applicant be required to still travel to collect the passport, or it will be dispatched by mail? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, as I indicated, there will be two options that the applicant will choose. They will either choose to collect the passports themselves, or they indicate that they will use a courier system. Those services are available.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Dudumwezi.
Madam Speaker, thank you so very much. Honorable Minister, as a former immigration officer, I just want to find out, you know that a passport is a security document. How are you going to ensure that foreigners do not have access to this very important document? Because currently you interview an individual to ascertain his or her nationality. Now in this digital, where there is no interview, how are you going to ensure that foreigners do not apply for this important document? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Interviews will still take place, Madam Speaker. It's the application process that will be online, and once they finalize the filling on of the application forms, they will be invited for interviews.
Thank you very much. That concludes the ministerial statement. Questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80. The Honorable Member for Milanzi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question 122.
The Honorable Minister, Acting Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, Honorable Piri, to ask the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, A, whether government has any plans to rehabilitate the Kagoro Mutandaza Road in Milanzi Parliamentary Constituency. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and C, if there are no such plans, why? Madam Speaker, in response to the questions raised by Madam Honorable Melisania Piri, I wish to inform this august House that in A, yes, indeed, government has plans to rehabilitate the Kagoro Mutandaza Road in Milanzi Parliamentary Constituency. B, the plans will be implemented once funds are made available. Government is working on the rehabilitation and upgrading of township and feeder roads in general in a phased manner. And for township roads, priorities mainly in provincial centers. The ministry has directed local authorities to utilize available resources such as CDF and motor vehicle licensing grants to carry out immediate interventions such as spot improvement works on sections of the roads, that is both township and feeder roads, that are in a deplorable state. C, the plans for implementation are there as indicated in A. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions, the Honorable Member for Milanzi.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your response. Honorable Minister, the road in question, Kagorom Tandaza Road, is in a deplorable state, and this is a very important and an economic road that links 3 chiefdoms. Currently, farmers are inconvenienced, when it comes to transporting imports and their farm produce to markets. Honorable Minister, you have stated that the road will be worked on once funds are made available. Do you have immediate plans to work on the road to ensure that it is passable? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for that very important question. And indeed, the ministry is aware that this road is in a deplorable state, and you're also aware that this road links 3 chiefdoms, and obviously farmers currently are being inconvenienced as they receive their inputs and obviously take the produce to the market. However, Madam Speaker, we've been encouraging our members of Parliament to ensure that we utilize funds under CDF. And I'm also aware that a member of Parliament has done very well in procuring this necessary equipment. So I encourage you, Honorable Member, to utilize this CDF, and obviously as well as the motor vehicle licensing grants to carry out these immediate interventions, and obviously the spot improvement works on sections of the road, so that our people are able to receive these inputs properly and also that they are able to sell their produce. So we believe that a solution in sight, the immediate solution, Madam Speaker, is to do these port improvements as we are waiting for funds to do the necessary capital projects. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Milanzi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, we are not satisfied with your response to this question. As I earlier indicated that the road is in a very deplorable state. And you know, Honorable Minister, that CDF is not enough. There are so many competing needs in these constituencies. What are you doing to ensure that the road is in a passable state as you wait for funds? Thank you.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
As I said already, Madam Speaker, the immediate plans are to utilize the equipment we've procured under CDF, and I'm glad to remind her that government since provided a sum of 3 million kwacha for fuel for those machines. And also again, I want to remind her that there are funds under the motor vehicle licensing grants. For the blacktop, I'm sure, I'm very, very confident here, Madam Speaker, that not far from now, 2026, 2027, since we are very sure that we are coming back into government again, the people of Milanzi must be assured that the UPND government, this caring government under the leadership of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, Commander-in-Chief of all the forces in the country, will construct this road to the standard you are asking for. The people of Milanzi must trust us that we'll do the right thing. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. There are more loaded comments. Honorable Member for Milanzi, you've just asked a question and you are leaving. At least sit in and listen to the other questions. Oh, it's okay. Let them caucus. It's within their rights to caucus. Let's make progress. Next question, the Honorable Member for Lufwanyama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question 123.
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Madam Speaker, I thank you. The Honorable Member for Lufwanyama, Honorable Kenny Sachisumo, is asking the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development the following three questions. A, whether government has any plans to upgrade the Lufwanyama-Kalengwa Road connecting Lufwanyama and Kasempa districts to bituminous standard. It has excited someone, Madam Speaker, I've seen. Maybe it's on this road. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and C, if there are no such plans, why? We answer as follows, Madam Speaker. Answer to A, government has plans to upgrade the Lufwanyama-Kalengwa Road connecting Lufwanyama and Kasempa districts to bituminous standard. B, the plans will be implemented once funds have been secured from the Treasury. C, as indicated at A above, the government has plans to upgrade the Lufwanyama-Kalengwa Road to bituminous standard. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Lufanyama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Karengwa Road is a very, very important road because it houses a lot of mines and the farmers who are along that road. Thank you for assuring us to say the road will be done. The people of Rufanyama have waited for a long time, Madam Speaker, for this road to be done. We thank the government has done quite a lot in Rufanyama, CDF, the employment of nurses and teachers who have been employed. But Rufanyama is one of those districts who were neglected by the previous government. Rufanyama has got only maybe 5 to 10 kilometers of bituminous standard of the road which are there. So, Honorable Minister, you know the road very well. You have traveled through that road. Very soon, Madam Speaker, that road will be closed because it's not good. What measures, Honorable Minister, the RDA would take to maintain that road? As it is now, it's very difficult, to go to Kasempa, to go to Mushindamo, because Rufanyama is interrelated to Mushindamo and Kasempa. We are one at the same time. What measures, Honorable Minister, will be done before this road is upgraded to bituminous standard and bring joy to the people of Rufanyama? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honorable Member for the follow-up questions. Let me assure the Honorable Member for Rufanyama that we are fully aware of the importance of that road to the national economy. As the Honorable Member is aware, I was a resident of Kalulushi district for many, many, many years. And I have used that road with a small car from when I was younger than I am, and I didn't have many resources. So I was able to drive on that all the way to Kaoma in the Western Province through that road. Because of the importance of this road, I give you further information. The road from Lufanyama to Kalengwa is part of the 254 kilometers of the road M018 road, connecting Kalulushi to Kankolonkolo. It is the shortest route between Copperbelt and certain parts of Northwestern Province, such as Kasempa, facilitating mineral transportation and commercial agriculture in both regions, Northwestern Province and the Rufanyama district. The Copperbelt, through the Road Development Agency, RDA, has been patching potholes to improve the riding quality of the 60 kilometers paved section between Kalulushi and the Rufanyama. That is the existing tar road. So we'll be carrying out some work on that one. For the unpaved section from Lufanyama to Kasempa, spot improvement works have been undertaken by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development through the Rufanyama Town Council. Although designs for the road exist, the 194 kilometers Lufanyama-Kankolonko section needs upgrades to meet current engineering standards and handle future traffic. The traffic on that road is going to increase with more developments at Kalengwa Mine. The Kankolonkolo-Mufumbwe section of the M8 road is paved. That's from Mufumbwe through Kankolonkolo to Kasempa, while the 46 kilometers Mufumbwe to Kalengwa section also requires improvements to bituminous standard. The estimated cost to upgrade the 194 kilometers Lufanyama to Kankolonkolo road to bituminous standard is approximately 2.45 billion kwacha, while that of the 46 kilometers Mufumbwe to Kalengwa Road is 581,900,000 kwacha. The scope of works to upgrade the section includes clearing and grubbing, roadbed preparation, construction of pavement layers, drainage works, surfacing, and auxiliary works. The Honourable Member will do well to remember that we have placed this particular road as a priority. And him and I have discussed these roads, not only that road, but also within his constituency, the Kalurushi turn-off to Mukutuma Rumpuma Road, with a section going, 4-kilometer section, going to Chieftainess Shimukunami. So he's fully aware of what we are doing on that road. But it's important, Madam Speaker, because very soon we shall rise after we have done what is necessary on Monday. So members of Parliament will be going back to the constituency. They want the constituents to know that they have raised the matters in Parliament. So I thank him for raising this matter. It's being attended to. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. I saw the Honorable Member Fonkana had indicated, but for some reason he has run away. So we go to the next, the Honorable Member for Solwezi East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for your response. I just want to find out, since you have talked about the importance or economic importance of this road, I know that this road connects Kitwe, Kalulushi, Lufanyama, southern part of Mushindamo, then all the way to Kasempa. And very, very important that it connects actually the copper belt to Kasempa, Kabompo, Manyinga, Mufumbwe, Zambezi, and Chavuma. It's the shortest route actually to use instead of going through Solwezi Central. Madam Speaker, I want to find out from the Minister if it is very, very important, if there have been any engagement to consider the PPP model on that road, since Minister, you have talked about the transportation of minerals and also agriculture. I don't know if there has been any engagement with the partners who can actually consider it under PPP. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And the Honourable Member is quite right. Parts of Solwezi East constituency touches on that road, specifically Chief Jima Zov of the people, part of his constituency. With reference to PPP, when this government was ushered into office in August 2021, there was a PPP which had been signed by the previous administration that covered, among many roads, including the Lufanyama Kankolonkolo Road, and also, actually, it also covered the Mutanda all the way to Kaoma and other such roads. We pursued that PPP to try to reach financial closure. We extended it a number of times, but ultimately it failed to go through. The payback was not necessarily through toll gates on that proposal, but it was on agricultural trade arising from other elements of the concession, which was improvement of agricultural activities in resettlement schemes and so on. It was quite extensive. We were happy to proceed with that, but that fell by the wayside, and therefore that did not proceed. As to whether that particular road on its own can attract attention from potential investors by way of PPPs, that is really dependent upon the volume of traffic. At the moment, the volume is relatively low, but I've said that with what is happening in that area, we expect the volume of traffic to rise, but that will only rise in the future when, for example, the Mutanda, Kasempa, Kaoma Road is done to bituminous standard, which now we have done groundbreaking for the concession in that area. When production in Kalengwa mine, which after over 40 years, this administration of President Hakainde Hichilema has managed to unlock. So that also becomes. And when that is done, it follows that there will be a lot of traffic. At that stage, that is when, in my view, it will attract people to invest, because investment on a PPP basis depends on the ability to recoup the investment. However, we're not going to wait for that. We have started works. I've said I think we are focusing on Kalushtenov to Mukutuma Rumpuma. As far as that area is concerned, Lufanyama and Kolonkolo will be the next that we focus on. But it has to be done in stages because of lack of availability of resources, as you know, where we have come from. But we are improving. It will eventually be done. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Lufanyama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, I want to thank you for answering the question very well. And you are revamping our, our hope for the new Dawn government. I just want to thank you again for visiting Rufanyama. You came to Rufanyama with the Minister of Transport and the Minister for Copper Belt, and the road which you have assured for Mugutuma, Rumpuma, Sakala Road. We are so grateful. Madam Speaker, I wanted to find out, Honorable Minister, for this road, is it coming in a 2026 budget or 2027 budget? Our hope as people of Rufanyama is in the new Dawn government. And we'll make sure that you support the President Hakainde Hichilema and the new Dawn government. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member should continue to engage. We will not leave the people of Rufanyama behind. We as a government, and on behalf of President Hakainde Hichilema, we are always thankful for the support that we have gotten from that area, that we got in the past and that we continue to get. We will not forget that support. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The clerk will now read the orders of the day.
The Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2025, second reading.
The Honorable Minister of Justice. Technology, please.
There we go. Thank you, ma'am. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill be now read for the second time.
The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Any debate? The Honorable Minister of Justice.
The articles of the bill. What? What? The object of the bill is to amend the
Criminal Procedure Code as to A, provide for forensic criminal procedures, B, make defilement, rape, incest, stock theft, stealing of medicine, medical supplies, cotton, copper, diamonds, gold, railway, aircraft, ventricle signalization, installation with associated facilities, and installation, distribution systems, transmission system, vessels, traffic signs, and navigation marks non-bailable. C, make the destroying of or damaging of an aircraft, distribution system, transmission system, road, airport, infrastructure, aerodrome, vessels, and navigation mark non-bailable. And D, provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any further debate? The chairperson of the Committee on Legal Affairs, Human Rights and Governance, the Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 206F and 207J of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024, the Committee of Legal Affairs, Human Rights and Governance was tasked to consider the Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill number 29 of 2025. In order to acquaint itself with the ramifications of the bill, the committee sought both written and oral submissions from key stakeholders. Madam Speaker, the Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill number 29 of 2025 seeks to extend the scope of admissibility of forensic evidence to include other disciplines such as analysts trained in various disciplines such as biology, chemistry, physics, and astronomy. Madam Speaker, in addition to the above, there has been an increase in the commission of offenses which include, among others, defilement, rape, incest, stock theft, stealing of, among others, medicine, medical supplies, cotton, copper, diamond, and gold, and the destroying or damaging of aircraft, distribution system, transmission system, road, airport infrastructure, aerodromes, vessels, and navigation marks. The bill seeks to classify the above-mentioned offenses as non-bailable in order to strengthen the capacity of the justice system to effectively respond to the increasing prevalence. Madam Speaker, the bill is well-intentioned and was supported by the majority of the stakeholders who appeared before the committee. However, certain areas that require clarity and adjustment to ensure that amendments achieve their intended goal were raised. It is my hope that members have had an occasion to study the report. I will therefore highlight the key concerns raised by stakeholders and recommendations of the committee. Madam Speaker, in supporting the bill, stakeholders observed that bail restrictions alone are not enough to prevent crime. These should be matched with speedy trials, specialized courts, and strong investigative capacity. Madam Speaker, stakeholders further noted with concern that the list of proposed non-bearable offenses had the potential of abrogating human rights. This was because the pre-trial process in the nation was not as effective as intended. In order for the amendments to be effective, the executive should ensure that all the proposals strictly comply with the provisions of the Constitution, ensuring that any legislative changes uphold fundamental rights, adhere to due process guarantees, and remain consistent with established constitutional standards. Madam Speaker, allow me now to briefly highlight some of the committee's observations and recommendations for the benefit of the House. Madam Speaker, the committee observes that there is an increase in the theft of medicines and medical supplies, which has the potential to put lives at risk. The committee recommends that the executive should prioritize reforms that strengthen systems responsible for management and traceability of medicines. This should include improving human resource, upgrading information and inventory management systems, investing in appropriate infrastructure, and enhancing technology programs. This will ensure that the perpetrators are easily traced and arrested, and that the medicines and medical supplies for the nation are safeguarded. Madam Speaker, the committee observes that the effect of this amendment has the potential to substantially increase the number of incarcerated persons. The committee, therefore, recommends that the executive should prioritize dealing with overcrowding in correctional facilities and improving rehabilitation outcomes by expanding alternatives to incarceration, investing in mental health and reintegration programs, and ensuring that all correctional facilities meet minimal human standards. Further, the committee recommends increasing the sentencing jurisdiction of magistrates to allow them to impose appropriate penalties without routinely committing matters to the High Court. This will ensure that timely delivery of justice, especially for non-bearable offenses, and ease the pressure on our correctional facilities. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, the Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2025, is a positive step as it represents an important opportunity to strengthen Zambia's criminal justice system through enhanced protection of vulnerable populations, vital infrastructure, and improved use of forensic science. Madam Speaker, I wish to thank all the stakeholders who interacted with the committee for the constructive input they offered. Expression of gratitude also goes to you, Madam Speaker, and the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly of Zambia for the guidance and support rendered to the committee throughout its deliberations. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further debate? Very unusual. So the Honorable Minister of Justice, winding up debate.
Madam Speaker, as already seen in the House at the overwhelming support. And indeed the chair's comments as in how the witnesses also supported this progressive bill. It is just to add, Madam Speaker, that the Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill of 2025 indeed seeks to amend the Criminal Procedure Code Act, Chapter 88 of the laws of Zambia, in order, among others, to expand the scope of forensic criminal procedures and broaden the admissibility of forensic evidence to include analysts also trained in various disciplines such as biology, chemistry, physics, and astronomy. The bill also seeks, among others, to make offenses such as defilement, this has been a cry from the community of Zambia, rape, incest, stock theft, the stealing of many others, among others, medicine, medical supply, cotton, copper, diamonds, and gold, and the destroying, Madam Speaker, or damaging of any aircraft, distribution system, transmission system, road, airports, infrastructure, air drones, vessels, and navigation marks as non-bailable offenses. Madam Speaker, currently, the Criminal Procedure Code Act, Cap 88, as already alluded to by the Chair, restricts the admissibility of forensic evidence to analysts only trained in chemical and bacterial disciplines only. This restriction has posed a huge challenge in the face of rapid advancement in forensic science. Furthermore, there has been a prevalence in the commission of offenses which include, among others, I want to reiterate again, defilement, rape, incest, stock theft, stealing of, among others, medicine, medical supplies, cotton, copper, diamond, and gold, and indeed the destroying of or the damaging of aircraft, distribution system, transmission system, road, airport, infrastructure, air drone, vessel, and navigation marks, offenses which are not classified as non-bailable offenses for first offenders, and hence why this bill. Therefore, there is need to amend the Criminal Code Act, Cap 88, so as to broaden the admissibility of forensic evidence in criminal matters to include analysts trained in various disciplines such as biology, chemistry, physics, and astronomy. Additionally, Madam Speaker, and indeed to the public, there is need to amend the Criminal Procedure Code Act number 88 so as to broaden the scope of forensic criminal procedures in the handling of criminal matters and to alleviate the commissioning of the above-mentioned offenses, which will result in the protection of other citizens, critical infrastructure, medicines, and livestock. Madam Speaker, and indeed to the public and the House, the concerns have already been raised by the Chair, although minimal, and we do also want to say we have heard some of those from the stakeholders regarding the constitutionality of classifying the above-mentioned offenses as non-bailable offenses because of the assumption that it would contravene provisions of the Constitution on the assumption of innocence and the right of liberty. However, it is important to note that the Constitution under Article 13 permits the deprivation of a person's rights to liberty if it is authorized by law. Furthermore, Madam Speaker, the above-mentioned offences will not be the first offences to be classified as non-bailable offences, because the Criminal Procedure Act, Cap 88, has already classified them
Order. Order. As the time is 16:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
Good afternoon. You're tuned into Parliament and Television. We'd like to thank you for your viewership. On the floor of the House was the Justice Minister, Honorable Princess Kasune, winding up a debate regarding the Criminal Procedure Code Bill. National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2025 has been considered at second reading stage. We did see the Minister of Justice earlier on read the objects of the bill, and of course the chairperson of the Committee on Legal Affairs and Human Rights and Governance, Mr. Miutu, did highlight the observations and recommendations of this particular bill. That's the Criminal Procedure Code Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2020.
Exactly, and we still have 6 more bills that will be considered at third and report stages. The time now to look at business, which has been considered on the floor of the House today. We had 1 ruling, 3 urgent matters without notice, and 2 ministerial statements. The first ministerial statement was read by the Vice President on the measures that the government has put in place to address challenges in the country that are beginning to unfold as disasters due to the onset of rains.
The other ministerial statement did come from the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. He did give an update on the status of the online passport application system, and of course the House did consider 2 questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 18.
Yes, indeed, and just now we go for a break. We'll be back at 17 hours. Don't go away. Keep on watching Parliament TV, the only station which endeavors to bring in Parliament closer to you. Good afternoon.
In order to bring Parliament closer to the people,